I'm sick of the sun, revolving, keeping everyone warm, keeping everyone happy in their ways, content to carry on in whichever way they choose, to go about their business however they act, sitting on high and glaring blankly down. Cover your shame, cover yourself with clouds. I'm sure you're somehow to blame for letting the fools walk free, the ones who walk ignorantly, dangerously, decadently, selfishly. I know it's ugly to be angry, but they're not exactly pretty. I just want to see things from their level, to see if it's me with the problem, if they're actually assholes. And if they are, hopefully the sun will be more judgmental. I'm sure it hears what I'm saying, but it just carries on laughing and shining, but it's not doing me any good, or them. There's no benefit in this equal favoritism. Shine some shadow on the assholes. They might see the error of their ways. They're the kind, always looking for a chink in someone's armour so they can stick in their knife and feel the opposite to the pain they felt when it was done to them, to find and to flood the empty gap that someone else's knife left. They pick their moment well and strike like a shark goes from meat at the first smell of blood. You can't call anyone wholly good or wholly evil, but it seems to me there's always been some sort of struggle between the kind of people who are all for freedom and liberation and say everyone's equal, and the opposite type who bring others down and stand for suppression, and sugarcoat boundaries by calling them guidelines and upholding rules they invented themselves, hoping to leave a long-lasting mark that no one has any choice but to follow. I'm not sure whether it makes them feel happy to exercise their hollow authority, to achieve some cheap satisfaction, all their freedoms defined in keeping others confined, dangling the keys above their heads, leading them through hoops, their energy boosted by begs. What do they gain at the end of the day? What are they after, respect or obedience? It's their own fault they're just as trapped as the beggars they lead. They shine up their pride till they can see their reflection. I hope they feel good. I hope they can sleep at night with a smile on their face and that their bed isn't too cold with their heating half on. And their mind is at rest because they played it safe and bought the best alarm money could buy. And they don't drink too often so the memory's still fine. It's useful to know they lock both locks on their double locked door. And when they get older, their kids will come round of their own accord and also smile and offer them help when it's needed because they helped them grow up and they weren't too strict in showing them the world. And they made it look good so they appreciate things and they always say thanks and they smile at people's parents even if they don't mean it, even if at the bottom of their heart they feel they have some score to settle with someone, anyone, because it's been done to them and they can't let it go. I can tell that they love to put people down by the look on their faces, a smug mask thinly hiding fake hatred. But it's true, I would pick them up if I saw them face down on the road and I wouldn't feel self-righteous and hold it against them by adopting their smugness. I'm sure they'd be grateful and their persona would change, their mask removed, the real smile would break through. But why does it have to come to this for them to genuinely be nice? They should stop for a second to ponder their actions and pull their face from their self-pride mirror. All the reactions have knock-on effects, all they provide is genuine pain, but they still plough on through, trained like a pack horse, only respecting the whip. I'd love to reveal the damage their kind continue to cause, but it'd be like crushing a cockroach with a wrecking ball crane. They know you have something you want to be saying, but they'd rather it stayed at the back of your throat or the tip of your tongue so your soul slowly suffocates and finally you choke and you give in and become just like them, ready to secure a safe job with prospects and authority and ambition filed neatly in your desk drawer. And at least 3 people you can tell what to do, and from time to time you can make them feel guilty and you feel all the feelings they felt all along, and you steadily persuade yourself that maybe they weren't wrong. There's something to all this bossing about. I know it's got to be done for the good of my company, to hold my job down. You've got what you want to hear already in your head, but you'll never say it now. You haven't got the time. It's taken up by being kind, by taking people by the shoulders and shaking till they confess everything you want to hear, which you already know, but you're afraid to be human, so you force it from someone else, but they'll never hit your mark. They'll always fall short. It was all a slow process and came on slow over time, but your surrender's now final. It hit you one morning and all you felt was spite. That tiny buried voice somewhere inside finally stopped screaming with a whimper and died. All you now have left is the phony commitments you've made, and they've got to be done, or by the rules you live by and by the rules you've made, you're condemned to the knacker's yard to live out your days being pressed into glue and thrown in the streets to cling to the feet of all the younger youths, to slow them all down, to flatten their prime and crush the time that slipped through your fingers like that thought in your head that reminds you of a stab when you wake in your bed in a pool of cold sweat, thinking whether any of the opinions you've ever said was worth half the money you've earned, and was that money worth half the trouble you've laid. You could break down and cry, but what would that achieve? You've no one left who properly cares. You put yourself out on your own the second you put paper above flesh and blood.